Okay, what's up, guys? Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are having a great holiday. Hope you're eating a bunch of food, sleeping around, having a great time with your family. And with 2024 coming to an abrupt end within the next week, I can't wait to see what 2025 has for us in terms of films and TV shows and all that stuff. But I wanted to give my list of my top 10 worst movies of 2024. There are some things that aren't on this list because I didn't bother to see them just because I knew they were going to be bad and I didn't want to go out on my way and just waste my time to watch them. So Madam Web wrote me on this list because I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it. I hate Sony's movies and I didn't bother to watch it. And Dakota Johnson she's just boring to me. There is nothing about her acting that I can get into. Even her interviews are boring. She's too one note. She's very monotone. And I also didn't see Craven. No surprise there. That one was bad. Didn't see Venom: The Last Dance. There are a few others that people might think is on this list that I saw, but I didn't. So let's get into it with number 10, and that's Hot Frosty. Now, Hot Frosty, uh, a movie about a snowman that turns into an a very attractive dude with ripped abs and very muscular. Yeah, Hallmark movie. This is streaming on Netflix. I didn't even bother to finish the film. The actress, I can't remember her name, the actress that plays in Mean Girls plays in this, and I feel bad for her. She needs to get another agent because she's been playing in a lot of Hallmark Christmas movies, and they are complete garbage. Which you got to put food on your table. I understand that, but they are not giving her a lot to work with. This was just ugh, yuck. And I feel bad for Craig Robinson because Craig Robinson's way too talented to do a raggedy piece of shit movie like this. Okay, so number 10 is Hot Frosty. On to the next one. Number 9, you got This Is Me with Jennifer Lopez. This is like a long version of a music video. I didn't even watch the whole thing because I was so irritated. I watched maybe like 12 minutes of it and I cut it off. I saw a review on Letterboxd that said Ben Affleck and Matt Damon made a better Dunkin' Donuts commercial than Jennifer Lopez with this movie. And I 100% agree with that. And I even liked the review. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. The only two movies Jennifer Lopez is in that I actually like is Selena and Hustlers. That's it. And she's the definition of mediocre in my opinion. So yeah, this was I don't know what this was. This should have stayed in her head. Next up, number 8, you got The Strangers Chapter 1. Now, I've only seen the first Strangers. I like the concept of it, and I think it's a lot scarier when people don't know who the strangers are. But when you try to unravel who they are and give the strangers a backstory, that's when it starts to lose its impact, so to speak. And I wasn't a fan of what they did with this. And also the two main characters are very stupid. I mean, the girlfriend is smoking weed in the middle of the woods in the middle of the woods when there are three killers on the loose and you decide to get high. And plus the boyfriend had a asthma. He has asthma, but in when they're running away from the strangers, you would think his asthma would come into play because he forgets his inhaler, but it doesn't. So it's like, what the hell? And there were a couple of times where he had the opportunity to kill them, to kill one of them, but we just get dialogue from him instead of just shooting one of them in the face. So yes, this movie is very trash. And on top of that, they got another one coming out, which I totally forgot about. And I didn't see Strangers Pray at Night. I've only saw the first Strangers in this one. And yeah, I this they should have stopped after the first one. That's my opinion. Next up, number 7, you have Miller's Girl. Oh my God, this movie right here is straight basura, garbage. I love Jenna Ortega. She's one of my favorite actresses. But the fact that her agent thought this was a good idea, I would be so upset with her or him. uh, this was, I don't know what this was. How many times are we going to do the whole inappropriate teacher student storyline? And they usually do that a lot with in like TV shows, and it's always a white dude and the student is always like an Asian girl or a black girl or a Hispanic girl or whatever, and they're always married. And yeah, it just makes everyone look shitty. Every single character in this movie is unlikable. It felt very gross, and I felt very uncomfortable watching Jenna have intercourse with this married white man that's like 20 something years her senior. It was very odd and unusual. This should have stayed in the trash. And yes, not only is this Jenna Ortega's first L, but they need to write more mature storylines for Jenna Ortega uh, that don't involve being regulated to a teenager, but also don't over sexualize her as well. So far, I think Jenna's best movie has been The Fallout, either The Fallout or X. But yes, please have Jenna stop playing teenagers. Give her some more mature roles that she can actually sink her teeth into. Yes, this was garbage. Next up, number 6, you have If. Now, I'm not a Ryan Reynolds fan. I think he's hella corny. Sorry guys, I'm itchy all over the place. If I knew that this movie was not going to do well when they were promoting the ensemble cast and not the plot of the film. So, yeah, Ryan Reynolds is corny, not a fan of this. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to revisit this film at all. Next up, number 5, you got Joker Folia Adu. And I just watched this on HBO Max. Yes, I'm going to call it HBO Max. I'm not dropping the HBO part. Yes, HBO Max. I finally watched this on HBO Max the other day, and oh God, I this was boring. I wasn't really a huge fan of the first Joker. I thought Joaquin Phoenix's acting in the first his performance was great in the first Joker. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like that movie is very overhyped. It's just a combination of Taxi Driver and Kings of Comedy. Um, in this film, I didn't ask for a sequel. I didn't want a sequel. This is what happens when studios get greedy and fans get greedy, because a lot of fans were asking for a sequel just like studios were, and because of that we got this. And the main problem with this is it does not feel like a musical at all. This whole film is a court drama. I don't like the pacing at all. The musical numbers, there is no musical numbers. When I watch a musical, I expect the characters to break out in choreography. I expect to have choreography with the musical numbers. However, there is no choreography at all, and it feels like the characters are just singing their dialogue and not breaking out of their characters and singing how they feel, like how I would usually feel if I were to watch, a high school musical movie or Mary Poppins, which is one of my favorite musicals, or even most recently Wicked, which is one of the best movies of the year and one of the best musicals ever, in my opinion. And yes, I think it will stand the test of time. But this, and also Lady Gaga, while the two performances are great, and I love the cinematography, the Lady Gaga, it felt like she was barely in the film. Like maybe 20, 30 minutes max. I felt like I rarely got to see them together. That is not the Harley Quinn and Joker that I'm used to seeing. But yes, this was, God. Even Todd Phillips didn't like this movie. But yeah, that's my number five. Number four is Argyle. Now, great concept. Now, this was directed by God. I can't remember the director's name, but he directed the Kingsman movies. And great concept for this movie, but they wasted the cast. They wasted everybody's time with this. The CGI is god awful. The action sequences are like a pro and a con. Yeah, the action sequences are cool, but they take you out of it because they keep transitioning between the book, between the characters from the book and reality, and that's where you lose me. And there's a couple of twists and turns that they just keep throwing at the wall to see if they stick. And honestly, I just wish this was over. And the movie went on for way too long. This should not have been over 2 hours. This was absolutely ridiculous. So yes, that's my number four is Argyle. Number three is Night Swim, and Night Swim is, I believe it's from the same studio that makes you know the movies like Imaginary and Illumination, I believe. Yes, I believe that's right. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. I might be wrong, but Night Swim. The only interesting part about this movie was the family drama. I was more invested in that than this haunted pool that I didn't really give a shit about. Maybe don't swim in it. And for a movie that's titled Night Swim, uh, there 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 is certainly a lot of morning scenes, like daytime scenes. Like this felt like I don't know, but a lot of this could have could have easily been like a TV show episode. Like Night Swim feels like a TV episode of it. It really reminds me of that episode of American Dad where Stan got the haunted jacuzzi or the haunted swimming pool or whatever. It reminded me of that. And American Dad did it way better than this, which is really sad. So, yeah, just keep this away from me. No. Next up, number two, Imaginary. Now, once again, the is concept cool, completely flundered it, and the jump scares would have been more cool, but I don't know what's up with the studios that make these movies, hindering the process of the movie or just the scripts by by toning down a lot of the jump scares, a lot of the kills, and you just have a watered down horror movie and you slap a PG-13 rating on it. That is not going to excite people to see your movies if if you know your bear on the poster looks like looks like Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy. And yeah, this movie was just, it looked bad. The jumps, the anticipation to the monster was better than the reveal. And when we finally got it, it just looked so bad. Like I said, it looked like the bear that turns into the giant monster, mechanical monster thing. It looks like something from Five Nights at Freddy's. And that's not a compliment at all, because Five Nights at Freddy's, while I don't think that film is inherently terrible, yeah, it's not as scary as the video games. And finally, coming up with number one, I got Sting. And I believe this is from the same studio that produced Imaginary and Night Swim as well. I believe so. But Sting, oh, God, man, talk about corny. I mean, a spider that turns an evil spider. Like, I don't really know what else to say at this point. I'm sick of the disappointing PG-13 movies. PG-13 horror movies. It seems like the only one that has gotten it right over the past few years has been The Conjuring. There might be some more, but I'm blanking at the moment. But The Conjuring are PG-13 horror movies, and they know how to scare their audience really well without hindering the acting or the writing or anything like that. But Sting, it just seems very cartoonish and outlandish with the spider getting bigger and bigger. And yes, it just seems like something from like the 1970s or 60s that you would enjoy, but now it's just very outlandish. But yeah, that's my list for top 10 worst movies of the year of 2024. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree with my list? Is there any films I left out? Is there any films that I should have watched that should have been on this list if I would have watched them? But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, and comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video. And happy holidays.